Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that's, well, on a lot of our minds, setting weight loss goals, the kind that actually work.
Yeah, because let's face it, wading through all the advice, it can feel like a maze.
Exactly. And it's just so easy to feel, defeated before you even really get going.
It really is. Especially when goals feel vague or maybe just impossible. It's tough to keep any momentum.
Right. So, for this deep dive, we've looked closely at info from a few places: the MedFit Care Podcast, Garnet Health, Withings, and the Mayo Clinic.
Mm-hmm. And our mission today really is to try and cut through some of that noise.
Yeah, give you, the listener, some actionable, evidence-based strategies.
Strategies for setting weight loss goals that, fit into your life and actually keep you inspired for the long haul. Lasting results.
Okay, so the whole idea of setting goals, it might seem obvious, right?
Sure.
But Garnet Health and Withings, they really stress just how foundational it is specifically for weight loss. Why is that so critical?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. It seems like having a clear target engages something fundamental in our psychology.
Okay.
Research consistently points to goal setting as a really powerful driver for success. And Withings' own data backs this up.
Oh, really? How so?
They saw that users who actually set a specific weight goal were, well, more successful. They lost more weight.
Huh. So just the act of setting it.
Exactly. It's almost like defining that target helps focus your efforts consciously and maybe even subconsciously.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like if you don't know where you're aiming, you're just sort of wandering.
Precisely. Any direction is just directionless.
Now, Garnet Health makes a really interesting point about the kind of goals. They talk about shifting focus to behavior.
Yes, behavior-focused, personalized goals rooted in daily life.
What's the thinking there? Why that shift?
Well, the real power, I think, is that it puts you in the driver's seat day to day.
Okay.
Instead of just fixating on, say, the N number on the scale, you're identifying concrete actions, things that improve your well-being.
Things you can actually control.
Exactly. You can't directly control the scale moment to moment, right?
Yeah.
But you can choose to grab fruit instead of a sugary snack.
Or switch from soda to water.
Right. Or decide to have a vegetable with dinner. Small things.
Those feel so much more tangible. Yeah. More within our immediate control than just like this abstract idea of losing weight.
Mm-hmm. And that leads into another vital piece they bring up.
Yep.
Understanding your why.
Ah, the motivation behind it all.
Yeah, and it's not just about appearance or hitting a certain number. It digs deeper.
So what kinds of whys are we talking about?
Well, it's very personal. Maybe it's wanting to reduce medication or having more energy to play with kids or grandkids.
Or maybe just being able to climb stairs without getting winded. Simple things like that.
Absolutely. Identifying that core personal motivation. It can be such a powerful anchor when things get tough. And they will get tough sometimes.
It's like finding your inner fuel source, right? Something that keeps you going when sheer willpower, might not be enough.
That's a great way to put it. And building on that, Garnet Health also talks about starting small.
Taking small steps. Why is starting small so important?
Think of it like building momentum or even a habit. Small, achievable goals give you that rewarding feeling of accomplishment early on.
Ah, that little win.
Yeah, and that positive reinforcement, it fuels more motivation. It's kind of a snowball effect, but in the right direction.
And it stops you feeling overwhelmed right at the start.
Exactly, which, let's be honest, often leads to just giving up.
And they specifically warn against those really restrictive, like all or nothing goals.
Oh, definitely. Those can feel impossible to maintain.
It almost sets you up for feeling like a failure, doesn't it? Even if you are making some good changes.
Precisely. That kind of extreme approach is often just not sustainable long term. It's crucial to remember that every small step forward is progress.
Progress, not perfection.
We got it.
Okay, so this leads us nicely into being specific and measurable. Garnet Health touches on this, and Withings and Mayo Clinic really highlight the SMART goal framework.
Yes, SMART goals.
What's the key benefit there? Moving from vague ideas like, I want to be healthier, to really defined targets.
Clarity. The clarity that specificity and measurability provide is, honestly, it's game-changing.
How so?
Well, instead of a general desire to exercise more, a SMART goal would be something like, walk briskly for 30 minutes, 3 times this week.
Okay, much clearer.
Right. You know exactly what you need to do, and you can easily track whether you did it or not. It removes all that ambiguity, gives you a roadmap.
It takes it from just wishing to actually planning. And that SMART framework specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound, It's such a practical tool.
Very practical. And Withings and Mayo Clinic use the example of aiming to lose 1 to 2 pounds this week.
Which hits all those points, right? Specific, measurable.
Attainable for many, relevant to weight loss, and time-bound this week.
Yeah.
It's not just about the individual letters, but how they work together to create that structure. A structure that makes the goal much more likely to actually be achieved.
And thinking about big goals, like maybe losing a lot of weight, that can feel totally overwhelming. Garnet Health mentions setting both short-term and long-term goals.
Yes, that's really important for managing expectations and motivation.
How do those two types work together?
Well, think of the long-term goal as your ultimate destination, right? But the short-term goals are like the milestones along the way.
Okay.
If your overall aim is, say, lose 100 pounds, focusing only on that huge number can feel incredibly daunting.
Yeah, I can see that.
But breaking it down into smaller chunks, like maybe aiming to lose, say, 4 pounds this month, that makes the journey feel much more manageable.
And gives you more chances to feel good about progress.
Exactly. It provides more frequent opportunities for that positive feedback. And you should definitely celebrate those short-term successes.
Little boosts along the way. Keeps you engaged.
For sure. Now, on the flip side, both Garnet Health and Withings are quite clear about cautioning against setting unrealistic goals.
Right, the kind that lead to frustration and ultimately maybe giving up.
Yeah. What are some common pitfalls you see there?
Well, I think a big one is trying to do too much too soon. Like going from zero exercise to trying to hit the gym intensely every single day.
Exactly. That just feels unsustainable for most people starting out.
It does.
As Garnet Health suggests, it's much more effective to start with smaller, more realistic commitments, maybe exercising just a couple of times a week.
And then build up gradually.
Yes, gradually increase as you build consistency and your body adapts. And like we mentioned, that general recommendation from Withings and Mayo Clinic, aiming for around 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week, that's a pretty good benchmark for what's typically seen as achievable and healthy.
Okay, that's a good guideline. Now, something else Garnet Health brings up, which might not be top of mind for everyone, is planning for barriers.
Yes, anticipating roadblocks, proactive planning.
Why is that so valuable?
Because life happens, right? It's unpredictable. There will inevitably be times when sticking to your plan gets challenging.
Like changes at work or family stuff.
Exactly. Or even just a dip in motivation. By thinking ahead about potential barriers, you can develop strategies in advance to navigate them.
So you don't get completely derailed.
Right. You can work around them without throwing everything out the window. It's about having a contingency plan.
Almost like an if this happens, then I'll do that scenario. So you're not caught completely off guard when things get tough.
Precisely. It's about building resilience into your plan.
Makes sense. And speaking of staying on track, another crucial thing emphasized by, well, pretty much all our sources, Garnet, Mayo Clinic, Withings, is tracking progress.
Monitoring the journey.
What are the benefits there? Why track?
Well, multiple benefits.
Yeah.
For one, it gives you concrete evidence of the progress you're making, which can be super motivating.
Seeing it black and white.
Yeah. But it also lets you see what's working well and maybe what needs adjusting in your approach.
So it informs your next steps.
Absolutely. And Withings data even suggests that people who track their weight more often, like daily, tend to lose more weight overall.
Interesting. And the Mayo Clinic mentions tracking food and exercise too, right?
Yep, tracking diet and exercise habits. And Garnet Health adds the idea of using progress photos as a visual way to see changes in body composition, which the scale might not always reflect immediately.
Right, because muscle weighs more than fat. So it's about gathering different kinds of information to help refine your plan.
Exactly. Now, Garnet Health also makes a really insightful distinction, I think, between motivation and discipline.
Okay, motivation versus discipline. How are they different? And why does that difference matter so much?
Well, it's a key difference. Motivation is that initial spark, that feeling of wanting to change.
The excitement at the beginning.
Right, but it can be fickle. It comes and goes. Discipline, though.
Yeah.
That's the ability to stick to your commitments even when that initial motivation fades.
So discipline is what carries you through when it gets hard.
You could say that. Think of it as the commitment to your goals, the habit that pulls you along during the tougher times. It's like a muscle you build.
And they offer some practical tips for building that discipline muscle.
They do. Things like setting clear goals, which we've talked about, time management, establishing routines, focusing on consistency over perfection.
Removing temptations,
Yeah.
learning from slip-ups.
Yes, all of that. Doing hard things, basically. It's about building those healthy habits into the very fabric of your daily life.
Right. And as Garnet Health points out, even people who seem super disciplined now, maybe they exercise consistently,
Yeah,
they had to start somewhere.
absolutely. They built that habit over time. No one starts out perfect.
And it's important to remember the bigger picture too, isn't it? The benefits go way beyond just weight loss.
Oh, definitely. Healthy habits impact your overall physical and mental well-being. The Mayo Clinic really reinforces this idea. Sustainable lifestyle changes are the foundation for long-term success, not quick fixes.
That's such an important shift in perspective, focusing on building lasting habits.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mayo Clinic and Withings also mention process goals versus outcome goals. Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. So outcome goals are typically about the end result, like lose 15 pounds.
The destination.
Right. Process goals, on the other hand, focus on the actions you take regularly. The journey, if you like.
Like walking 10,000 steps a day.
Exactly. Or eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. The Mayo Clinic suggests that by focusing on consistently hitting these process goals,
The things you do every day.
yes, you're actually more likely to achieve your desired outcome goals in the long run. It shifts your focus to the daily behaviors you have direct control over.
It's about focusing on the how and trusting the what will follow.
That's a good way to put it.
Now, throughout all this discussion, both Withings and the Mayo Clinic strongly recommend getting professional guidance.
Yes, seeking help from healthcare professionals.
Why is that professional input considered so important?
Well, consulting your doctor is really a critical first step. They can give you personalized recommendations based on your individual health history, any conditions you might have.
Make sure it's safe and suitable for you.
Exactly. They can help set realistic expectations and, if needed, refer you to other specialists, like maybe a registered dietitian or nutritionist.
Okay.
And Withings specifically points out this is really crucial if you have underlying conditions like, say, diabetes. Your weight loss goals need careful management alongside your overall health plan.
Right. It's about making sure everything works together safely, tailored to your specific needs.
Definitely.
And finally, something really important to remember, which both Withings and Mayo Clinic stress. Setbacks are normal.
Oh, absolutely. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Progress isn't usually a perfect straight line upwards.
There will be weeks where the scale doesn't move, or maybe you slip up on your eating plan.
Yes. Or you hit a plateau. The key thing is not to get discouraged and just give up entirely.
What should you do instead?
View them as learning opportunities. Maybe reassess your goals. Were they truly realistic? Identify what went wrong and how you can get back on track.
So don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency.
Exactly. As Garnet Health puts it, consistency over the long run is far more valuable than trying to achieve some kind of unattainable perfection.
Okay, so wow, lots to digest there. Just
Yeah.
kind of bring it all together. The core ideas seem to be make your goals smart, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound.
Yep.
Really focus on those daily behavior changes and understand your personal why.
Your motivation, yeah.
Start small to build that momentum, track your progress consistently,
Use that data.
cultivate discipline to back up your motivation, and definitely know when to seek professional guidance.
And remember that setbacks are just bumps in the road, not roadblocks.
Right. And ultimately, it's about embracing the fact that building these healthy habits, achieving sustainable weight loss, it's a gradual process.
It is. But one with huge long-term benefits for both your physical and your mental health.
So here's something maybe to really think about as we wrap up. Considering everything we've talked about today, what's just one small, specific, and realistic step you can take, starting today, towards your own health and well-being goals?
And maybe just as importantly, what's the deeper reason? What's your personal why behind wanting to make that change?
That's often the most powerful place to begin, isn't it? Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.